In Zaire 8 years ago, long before the human crisis began in the valleys below, a mature 22-year-old silverback gorilla called Ndungutse inherited leadership of a family from his father. A distinctive spray of white hair grows across his back, first appearing at about the age of 12. It's a hallmark of maturity. All other members of the group are black. He has a bump at the top of his head where powerful jaw muscles are attached. For 3 months, Ndungutse's 2 younger brothers have been keeping their ailing father company, gradually losing contact with the main group as they've fallen further and further behind. There is something here that's upsetting the 2 brothers. This is Rafiki, the eldest of the 2. He has been calling continuously, displaying on and off for days. Their father has died from old age in the cold of a Virunga night. Fastidious about keeping themselves and each other clean, the younger brother, Luwawa, moves in to attend his father by grooming his fur. Thousands of flies attracted to the body lying in the warm dampness of the forest floor have laid eggs. In a curious piece of behavior, Luwawa eats what he begins to uncover. For hours he cleans the fur, eating as many of the eggs as he can find. During the weeks that the old silverback took to die, the brothers have not eaten properly. Primarily vegetarian and finding themselves confined to one small part of the forest, they've consumed most of what is edible. They now desperately need to move on in order to feed. The bond forged over years of close association makes it difficult for the brothers to leave their father. They have known no other leader and continue to remain near the body for a while longer. Rafiki, at the age of 11, is on the verge of sexual maturity, a time when he will strike out to lead a life on his own. The brothers quickly distance themselves from the corpse and move into a new part of the forest. Luwawa is 4 years younger than Rafiki, and at this stage of his life is less inclined to want to lead a solitary existence, preferring instead to stick with his older, more experienced brother. For the first time in a fortnight, the pair are in an area where there's plenty of food. Gorillas spend over a third of each day eating, a large male consuming about 18 kilos of vegetable matter. The brothers eat over 50 species of plant at different times during their travels through the forest. Many are astringent to the human palate, and others, like this bracket fungus, are eaten only occasionally. Tired and replete for the first time in days, the pair settle down to rest several kilometers from their father's remains. The Zairian park authorities closely monitor the gorillas in this part of their range. With only an estimated 620 mountain gorillas left in the world, each body recovered for examination yields valuable information on a subspecies that was only discovered this century. In the 12 weeks it took their father to die, the pair have lost all contact with their elder brother, Ndungutse. He has taken the group far off, up the slopes of Mikeno. Rafiki and Luawa range through the forests on their own. For the first time in their lives, they are making important decisions that were previously the exclusive preserve of the leading silverback male. Farmers ignore the buffer zone on the edge of the Virunga Park and cultivate to within sight of the forest. The brothers have been tempted on several days in a row to leave the comparative safety of the forest so that they can raid a neighboring banana plantation. Introduced into tropical Africa in prehistoric times, the banana plant is an important and valued food in Central Africa. Although gorillas eat this plant's forest cousin, it does not bear the distinctive fruit with which we are so familiar. The gorillas eat only the pith found at the center of the trunk, ignoring the bananas that are frequently brought down during the raid. The juicy pith is rich in sap. Gorillas seldom drink and obtain all their moisture requirements from the vegetation that they eat. For many young Zairians helping their parents farm small parcels of land, this is their first encounter with a living gorilla. The national park and its wildlife are strictly off limits, and they're unlikely to come face to face with wild animals. Understandably, many Zairians harbor deep resentment against the wild animals that raid their plots. With such tempting crops growing so close to the forest edge, who can blame such intelligent creatures for taking advantage of the situation? They have been so busy feeding, the pair will have even more difficulty finding their older brother's group. Far away, the youngsters in Ndungutse's family are taking advantage of the mid-morning siesta period to play. Like their human counterparts, they find it difficult to remain quiet for very long. Although the adult group members will take this opportunity to rest, Undungutse is keenly aware of all that's happening and will intervene if play becomes too boisterous. The focal point of every gorilla family is the dominant silverback male. He is the sole decision maker. Each female is bonded to him directly, and he's usually the father of all their offspring. Close by Undungutse's group lives a fourth brother, a 19-year-old silverback called Salama. He maintains a healthy distance from his older brother by trailing the family wherever they go. Although he lives on the edge, he's familiar to all group members, and during the regular siesta periods, he often plays with one particular infant, belonging to a female with whom he has a very close bond. Salama, concealed from his brother's prying eyes, mates with her. He is invited to copulate during the 2 days of her estrus, and this cements her association with him. By maintaining contact with both silverbacks and allowing them to mate with her, she can successfully fool the two into believing that they are in turn the rightful father of the infant that she carries. This strategy puts her in the unique position of being able to pick and choose between the two brothers when it suits her. All gorillas have large pot bellies. Bacteria in the gut help to break down all the vegetable matter needed to satisfy their daily energy requirements. A byproduct of all this activity is gas, huge quantities of it. As a result, all family members are in a semi-permanent state of flatulence. Gorillas have been known to do something very strange at certain times. They will eat their own dung for no apparent reason. Whether this unusual behavior is an attempt to recycle a particularly nutritious food source or is simply a hot meal on a cold day has yet to be determined. Since their father's death, Luwawa and Rafiki have not re-established contact with Undungutse's group. He has moved too far up the slopes of Mikeno. This imposed early separation from the family helps to build confidence. Wandering through the forests prepares the pair for the eventual day that they will be group leaders in their own right. Its quiet contemplation interrupted, a fledgling eagle owl is suddenly aware that the world outside its nest can be terrifyingly large. It hasn't learnt to fly properly yet, and it's not often that Rafiki can get this close to an animal. Luawa is less interested at first. His natural sense of curiosity, sparked by the unique nature of the situation, draws Rafiki into wanting to provoke a response. Overwhelmed by one boisterous brother, the owl finds the close attention of the other too intimidating and quickly learns what wings are for. The lush green forests around Mikeno are lapped by a rising tide of human cultivation, which threatens to engulf the island-like home of the mountain gorilla at any time.
I'm 2,000 meters up a mountainside in Uganda, and we've just reached a group of gorillas that need to be inspected for illness or injuries by the gorilla doctors.
That one's nearly 60 feet in the canopy, indicates it's got to be well. It's got to be in a healthy state.
Yes, it is. We can't even appreciate it from a distance. You look at the size of the stomach.
Yeah, it's distended.
Yes, the movement of the limbs.
So we have one just here as well. And again, first thing you notice is the bloated nature of the belly. Gorillas, being obligate herbivores, have to eat just a vast amount of food every day, up to 20 kilos. And there's a lot of fermentation going on inside there. Hence, there's often a little sound in the background, a little trump.
With all the females around, we know the big silverback must be nearby.
The silverback is there. And he's absolutely enormous. This one is known for being a very successful predator on other groups. So he will raid other groups and steal their females. But he will raid by himself, even if the other group has 3 males. He's big, he's very strong, and he's got incredible bravado. A month ago, he stole a new female. So his group is now up to 9, and he looks very well indeed. Wow. That was an amazing sound.
Just let the members know that I'm around.
Okay.
All is fine.
Yeah. He's on the move. He's just strolled forwards. The reason we're keeping this distance is because we carry all kinds of diseases, even when we don't realise it. The types of diseases that gorillas are simply not capable of defending themselves against. They just don't have the immune system for our diseases. So this is why it is enforced to try and stay about 7 meters away from them, to minimise the chance of us either catching a disease from them or giving a disease to them. Where this becomes much more complicated is when gorillas come into contact with agricultural people around here. Then we have a real situation whereby agricultural animals, domestic animals, can transmit diseases to and from the gorillas. The large female there, the baby here, and the silverback there. One of the animals most historically feared by people. And yet, look at this. This is peace defined, it really is. They have been vilified for all time, persecuted, almost to the point of extinction. Now, just a tiny population left. The work of the guerrilla doctors, of Fred, Jan, the rest of the team, is absolutely critical in ensuring the survival of one of our closest relatives, one of the most iconic species on Earth. The way we have treated them through history is abhorrent, diabolical. I'm so glad that now there is sufficient incentive to change, to repair some of the damage we did, to try and guarantee their survival.
It's very healthy. They are feeding normally. The big berries, they are feeding enough. That sound tells it all. They are comfortable. They are getting it all. They don't feel threatened by our presence.
I have to be careful not to get too close to the baby. The silverback is just a few meters away and could charge.
There's a baby gorilla just behind me, and the silverback just down there. Silverbacks and all the other gorillas in the family will defend the babies with their lives. So when European zoos and other people have come in to try and steal baby gorillas to sell to the pet trade or to sell into zoos, almost the whole family has had to be slaughtered because they will defend them with their lives. It belongs here and not in someone's home and not in a zoo. Finally, I hope we're learning that gorillas belong in the wild.
Next day, I head out to visit some nearby villages who have a long history of living next to and among gorillas. In the past, some encounters with local farmers and hunters did not end well for the gorillas. And I wanted to find out if attitudes are changing since the creation of the park in the early 1990s. For the young, gorilla ecotourism brings money. This elder remembers when his people had a different view.
And when they met the gorillas, was it always a friendly interaction?
That
when they met them in the forest, they used to think that there was a person in the forest, and they used to give them distance, not going to close to them.
So they used to think it was a lost person in the forest? Is it bad luck to meet them? They thought it was bad luck to meet a gorilla.
Yeah.
These dances, put on for tourists visiting the gorillas, help the community by providing funds for the care and schooling of village orphans.
It's absolutely outstanding. They've obviously really just adopted the spirit of the gorillas into their community. The kids have a wildlife club where they learn about gorillas, and here they are dancing the gorilla dance. It's just somehow become this figure of, I don't know, collectiveness within the community, whereas they used to be seen obviously as a fearful figure, a figure of some form of bad luck. When they went into the forest, if they saw them, they would be terrified, whereas now clearly that's not the case. Clearly they revel in the fact that they have these incredible animals right here on their doorstep.
Our next gorilla encounter proves to be much closer to home. And fresh wounds on a male tell us a marauding silverback is on the loose. Day 2, and we're told the gorillas are on the move and close to the communities. Dr. Fred, Dr. Jan and Jessica join me to locate the wandering gorilla troop.
There we are, shaking a tree just there, just at 10 o'clock. Spotted one shaking a tree there, 10 yards from the hut. It's insanity. Like, there's the national park. But all of this stuff, this secondary growth, is so rich in nutrients, so tasty. Jan's just described it as a gorilla salad bowl. Very good description. There's a gorilla, amazingly, right here. But as Jan said, it's eating bamboo, which has been planted by people. One of the things they're trying to do with local communities is to encourage them to plant the types of plants that gorillas simply don't like in the buffer zone.
Right here we are with blackback Karembezi. At the moment he's comfortably feeding. One good thing to note, as a habituated gorilla, he's already aware of our presence. but he's not disturbed.
He's behaving normally, and that's what we like to see.
Well, here is a perfect example of the problem we're facing. Here's a gorilla strolling along a man-made path and helping himself to the plants that people have planted. You can't blame the gorillas. They're here to get some good food. They're here to get nourishment, and there's fantastic nourishment in these plants here. It brings them into conflict with people. And one of the big problems is that people carry diseases that gorillas are, I suppose, physiologically naive to, medically naive to. They haven't come across the types of viruses that we carry.
On our data sheet, we record everything that we can. So if we don't see locomotion, we saw everything else, but we didn't see locomotion. And then that goes into a computer program, spits out a report at the end of the month, which helps us understand disease, injury, and the progression of that in these animals.
Oh, there's a baby. Awesome. There's a little gorilla baby, which was absolutely amazing, and massively fat stomach, hugely distended. Gorillas are herbivores. You wouldn't imagine it from pictures of gorillas you see with massive great canines and looking incredibly aggressive, but they're basically obligatory herbivores. They only really eat vegetation. It's very difficult to get much nutrients out of a leaf or out of a stem or something like that, so they just have to eat constantly. They eat up to 20 kilograms of vegetation a day. That's a huge, huge amount. It's hard for a human being to eat a kilo of food a day. I've tried, it's really difficult.
Oh, there's babies playing up here. Look.
Yes. They've got such amazing comical looks on their faces.
Yeah.
They're just having a brilliant time. I love wrestling. This is all obviously immensely fun for them, but it serves a really useful purpose as well. It prepares them for real battles when they're much older, when these young male baby gorillas are going to be fighting for their own groups. It's looked like a bit of playtime, and it is, but it's preparing them for life as an adult.
Jan spots a large male blackback with a wound.
See the scar on his back? Big wound. It's healed really well. It's apparently 1 week old. It must have been very sore when it happened. He's a blackback, sub-adult male. So every now and then he's just going to be beaten up by the big silverback. It's going to happen. Life is tough as a gorilla. This playtime is preparing them for a life of battling for their own group. And sometimes they get seriously injured. I just spoke to Jan. She said that, according to Fred, the silverback that attacked the blackback we've just seen, the one with the big scar, was the same silverback that attacked one of the groups up in the mountain. It was obviously a marauding lone silverback. Maybe trying to steal females to start his own group. It's just something they do. They come into existing groups. They beat everyone up and they try and steal females for themselves, set themselves up as a harem leader.
Then behind us, I notice 2 sub-adult gorillas feeding. The female wants to get by us. She's cautious, as we are. Even though weighing half as much as a silverback, she's still many times stronger than a man. Reassuring gorilla feeding grunts are given. Then the male also decides to walk up to us. He's getting very close.
So as the male walked past, just as he was about to go, gave a little nudge towards Fred, which, as Fred has just explained, was playful. If he was aggressive, you would have noticed it in his face and in his demeanour. It was just a little nudge, just to say, hello, have a little look at this. And these gorillas actually identify people individually. They know the trackers who work with them every single day, and they see the trackers as their friends. So when we are with the trackers, that means the gorillas are relaxed because they know that their friends are here. They know they're not under any form of threat whatsoever. So what just happened there was we surprised a female as she was coming out from feeding. And we're very close, we're probably about 6-7 meters away from her. And she just gave us a warning. You could hear it, you could see it on her face. That was a real warning, that wasn't playful, that was, you've overstepped the mark. It was our fault, we snuck up on her by accident. But what's remarkable that Jan has just pointed out, that the gorillas are walking around on an official walk as a part of one of the lodges here. We're on the River Loop walk. People could be sitting having a pina colada in there, not knowing that there's a group of 15 gorillas 20 meters away from them.
We always go around. We never enter the group. We trail the group or we go around the group.
They're right in the lodge now.
To avoid a potential confrontation, I step back to give this blackback male some space.
There's 3 there. It's a blackback, it's a young male gorilla. One day he will be the leader of his own group. Probably already weighs about 120 kilos. It's ridiculous. Look at the strength in his lats. It's very relaxed, just casually feeding with his back to us. Amazing how calm they are. But they know we don't mean them any harm. We're here with the doctors, we're here with their trackers. And they associate very positively with those guys.
Yeah, I think we can stop from here because the group is like going further and further towards the people.
There's a community just there as well.
Yeah, the community people. They may even go beyond this bush to avoid risks of disease transmission and stress.
So will the trackers now encourage the gorillas to go back towards the forest?
Yeah, sure. The trackers will begin now chasing them, pushing them back to their habitat, to the forest.
We have trained the trackers on the best way to handle that of pushing the gorillas back to the forest.
It's passively, presumably.
It's passive.
It's been an amazing experience, obviously. I've witnessed some of the things I never thought I'd have the privilege to see. But it's just been made all the more pertinent by the fact that we are here in a tourist lodge. There's a sign for a massage just down there, and a gorilla walks straight past it, and there's a tourist just wandered up there. It shows the real problem that's happening here. It's human-animal conflict, and the gorillas are the losers.
Back at the park, we're waiting for any emergency health reports from trackers in gorilla territory.
And I'm going to try and climb this tree to get a bit of a view over the park. It's one of the most remarkable national parks left in Africa, one of only 2 places where the mountain gorillas still survive. What better way to have a look at the park and view what remains of the gorilla's habitat than by getting high up into the canopy. Too high. Yeah! Yeah. Fair way up a tree here. And I've got a view over the valley on the far side. So the proximity of these groups of gorillas which live all around me to those massive communities of people that live just over there is genuinely a concern, and something that the gorilla doctors are really working hard to try and mitigate against. Now, the gorillas in most parts of their habitat, i.e. Rwanda and Congo, don't really climb trees, but here they seem to. For whatever reason, there must be good food up here, or potentially protection against ground-based predators such as leopards. But being up here, it's ape's eye view, and also gives me an opportunity to really appreciate just the absolute wonders of Bwindi Impenetrable National Park.
At the end of 4 years, de Schrijver had begun to understand the ways of the gorilla. Today, he freely studies the daily lives of several families, and of one family in particular, the one dominated by a superb silver-backed male whom he calls Casemir. We meet Casemir as he is making up his mind to cross a road that cuts through the park. De Schrijver waits silently with his chief trackers, Mushabera and Pili Pili. He's been able to anticipate Casemir's intentions, but now he talks to him by way of reassurance.
Come, 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 come. Come, 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 come.
Gorillas don't like the trackers, perhaps because they associate them with earlier hunting. And the trackers don't care much for the gorillas either. So when gorillas are close, his trackers always sit well behind Adrian.
Come, 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 come.
Casemir is responsible for the safety of his family, so he is understandably cautious about crossing a road that has recently been made through his home range. Casemir comes out first and stands guard, all 450 pounds of him. Then come the females and the young. The first three are safely up the bank on the far side. Next, a mother and two young. Satisfied that the coast is clear, Casemir is content to hand over guard duties to his subordinate males. The second female crossing is called Broken Arm. Finally, the rear guard, the second-rank males, first Hannibal. Then a gorilla named after a tracker whose mouth is always open, Musha Ramina. Casemir takes his family of 19 up the bank to be swallowed by the forest once more. It is Casemir's family with whom de Schrijver has a close day-to-day relationship. A gorilla's day starts just after dawn. The whole day is governed by the need to eat. Kahuzi Biega provides rich feeding, much of it at ground level. The smaller animals, young males, females, infants, sometimes spend their night in the trees, building well-made nests there. The larger animals build their nests on the ground. The senior male, Casemir, leads the family from the nest site. He knows the general direction he intends to take them in search of food. During the day, they'll cover anything up to 2 miles, seldom more. Shortly after dawn, one of the trackers has watched to see which way the guerrillas are moving. Soon, head tracker, Mushabera, and the Shriver arrive at the nest site. The condition of the nest tells them how long it is since the guerrillas got out of bed. Mushabera produces a loose bunch of gorilla hair from a silverback. It's Casemir's. When they're traveling, gorillas move in single file. The trail will be harder to follow later when they spread out to feed. There are rotten logs to be crossed, giant nettles to be avoided, vines and creepers to be cut and parted. Sometimes the approach takes hours, even though torn shoots and nibbled leaves show that the gorillas are only a short distance ahead. Until they're close, Mushabera leads, cutting a trail with his panga. Often the gorillas are heard long before they're seen. If they are uneasy, they often beat their breasts. The noise is made by hitting the cupped hand on the chest. It's not aggression, as many people suppose, but a gorilla's way of releasing tension, like you or I scratching our head, humming, or lighting a cigarette. If they're feeding on a banana tree, the sound of tearing leaves can be heard hundreds of yards away. The whole family, under Casemir's leadership, has halted to demolish one particular tree. Casemir scoops out the soft, bitter pulp. It's not the best part, but it's full of moisture and he needs a drink. The females at the foot of the tree get the most succulent portions, but that's only because Casemir doesn't want them at the moment. The entire family may spend up to half an hour disposing of this single tree. It's only one item on the menu in a 12-hour day, most of which will be spent eating, eating, eating. It's been estimated that an adult male gorilla disposes of 60 pounds of food or vegetable matter every single day of his life. By the time Casemir decides to move on, there's very little of the banana tree left. De Shriver maintains that Casemir is an excellent conservationist. His family seems to wreck one banana tree at a time. As Mushabera and De Shriver follow once more, they pass the remains of Casemir's previous banana tree snacks. A third tree has been left untouched for the future. Gorillas are highly selective feeders. They appear to know just what plants they want at any given time of the day and season. They have a large selection to choose from. A list of over 200 food plants has already been compiled. Next on this day's menu is a clinging weed called galium, or bedstraw. Once again using his eating mime to approach Casemir, the Shriver studies the great ape's technique for dealing with this troublesome weed. The leaves of Galium are armed with little hooks, which make it difficult to handle. To get around this minor inconvenience, Casemir rolls it up before swallowing. After years of contact, it appears that Casemir actually likes to meet the Shriver, but always chooses an open space in which to do so. In the open, he no longer charges him. Just the same, the Shriver often takes 10 minutes of cautious, step-by-step approach to get as close as this. Hannibal is number 3 male, not yet silver-backed. You can always recognize him by his downturned mouth. He's an inquisitive animal, and lately the Shriver has been able to approach him even more closely than Casemir. What follows is an incredible scene, because this time it seems to be Hannibal who wishes to make contact with the Shriver, though at first the gorilla plays hard to get. The Shriver senses that something unusual is going to happen.
Come. Allez, ça suffit. Assez. Allez, come. Du calme. Allez. Du calme.
Hannibal is reassured and settles down again, only feet away. But the Shriver is still certain something tremendous is going to happen. And suddenly it does. Was this aggression or a desire to make contact? The Shriver was totally unhurt, as action replay shows. At midday, the gorillas seek thicker cover, and the Shriver once again follows them. They've been eating continuously since they rose from their nests just after dawn. Now the gorillas take a lunch break, or rather, a non-lunch break. For up to 2 hours each day, they relax and stop eating, presumably to digest the huge intake of the morning. Complete peace falls over the forest. The sound of crashing branches and rending leaves stops. During this siesta period, the gorillas groom and relax. Towards the end of the lunchtime break, there's sometimes a disturbance. The youngsters grow restless, rather like human children after a picnic. With the indulgence of their seniors, they take part in play fights. The midday halt is the only time they can do this without getting left behind by the constantly moving family. The Shriver observes the same lunchtime pause. His fieldcraft and knowledge of guerrilla habits often enables him to anticipate the next stopping place along their intended route, and he waits for them there. They climb up into the trees for their first feed of the afternoon. What they're after is a parasitic growth, rather like mistletoe. Previous observation of gorillas in more open country had suggested that they were cautious and rather clumsy climbers. In the forest of Kahuzi, where there are plenty of large trees to bear their weight, they show themselves to be extraordinarily agile. They move on again. There are still 3 good feeding hours left. Their chosen route is taking them towards the edge of the park where the trees end and the farmland begins. Casemir clearly has a definite objective in mind. It's very rarely that the whole group emerges into the open together. But that's what they do now, on a track at the border of the park. So here, assembling for their portrait, is Casemir's family. The young male, Fred, escorts a female. The difference in size is very evident. The males, besides being much bigger, have a flatter face and a higher peaked forehead. Fred is probably 7 or 8. This female looks pregnant, in which case she's probably carrying Casemir's infant. Casemir has first choice of receptive females. Though Casemir is over 20, he's still very much in command of the group. His stately exit tells the youngsters and more timid females that it's safe to cross the track. Any quarreling in a guerrilla group is usually among the females. Males take little notice of female temperament. They prefer to eat in dignified silence. Gorillas do a good deal of barking to warn or appear aggressive. Sometimes they give a questioning bark, as if to ask, "Who's there?" Now Hannibal and Musharamina marshal the rest of the family to hurry on in the general direction which Casemir has indicated. The final objective is now reached. A wild fruit called a bwamba is ripe for the gathering. When the bwamba season comes, guerrilla groups make their way to certain well-known bwamba trees and pillage the ripe fruits. First, for a clean-up of fruit that has fallen to the ground. Then Casemir leads the assault to the topmost branches. Musharamina follows next. Then come the females and younger males. A youngster beats the branches, though it's hard to say why. Perhaps this time in play. The Buamba feast is over for the day. And when the family finally climbs down, each member has his mouth stuffed full of the fruit. The gorillas seldom leave the forest and trespass on the farmland. When they do so, it brings them in contact with the chief danger to their future, man. This particular man is no direct threat to them. He's a simple farmer, and he has every right to be where he is. But as long as trees are felled and forests cleared, the gorillas will be on the retreat. Now it's the African farmer who beats a retreat, minus his hat. The gorilla family continues unperturbed to find a resting place at the end of their day. The farmer's hat becomes an object of brief curiosity. After considerable scrutiny, they discard it, possibly because it's the one piece of vegetable matter they've met with all that day that's no good to eat. Casemir doesn't even deign to look at it as he and his family move away to a night's rest in the forest. Tomorrow there'll be another feast of the Buambas.